Good evening, YouTuber subscribers and friends and like. I'm sorry I haven't been on lately because I haven't had much in the way of content. It's just the same old thing over here. I was gonna make a video about showing you the front desk and the area of the hotel, but if you've seen one Best Western, you've seen another, so I will skip that for now. But I have a new update as of today. Today is December 23rd, I believe, or maybe 22nd, something like that. It's a Sunday going into Monday morning. And there were some new developments over the weekend. We had the cable and the Wi-Fi and the local phone service go out because the pool pipe burst in the pool room. And a long time ago, when they very first put everything in, somebody was kind of stupid about putting in the electronics for the Wi-Fi and the pool. The Wi-Fi and the phone and the cable. All that electronics is in the same area as pressurized water pipes for the pool pumps, and the heaters and pool and spa pumps and heaters and stuff. And lo and behold, when they replaced the heater for the spa, it didn't get tightened up enough or something, I don't know, but anyway, it bust off and sprayed water onto the Wi-Fi and all that electrical equipment, and we came pretty close to electrical fire, but the surge protectors stopped it. Well, anyway, that whole drama thing happened, and that got the owners mad and stuff like that. And the friend of mine that hooked me up with a job here recently, this morning, got fired because he said something to the higher ups downtown or something, to like the mayor of the town or the Chamber of Commerce people or whoever, but his position was the director of sales here, and so because he was representing Best Western off hours and off this property or whatever downtown, the owner didn't like it, and then the same guy took it upon himself to try to help fix the Wi-Fi and the phone and everything and get the technicians to come out here on the weekend to do that before we lost revenue by rooms from guests, wanting to leave early because there's no cable or phone or Wi-Fi, which we all thought was a good thing that he stepped up and did that, but apparently the owner did not. So today they got together and fired him earlier, and because I was downtown with him that night when it all happened, technically did and didn't get fired. I don't know exactly for sure yet. I have a meeting tomorrow morning at 9. But my coworkers are kind of hinting that, I might be out the door with him. I don't know. But either way, even if I wasn't out the door with him, I'm still deciding on leaving just on my own volition, because the way the whole thing went down, in my opinion, he deserved a write-up, just a reminder to say that you represent Best Western even when you're off property, and so please don't do that, and maybe take your time to go and apologize to whoever you apologize to, and call it good with a write-up. But the owners got mad and decided they just wanted to fire him, I guess, off the hand for just what he said downtown. And to me, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because it makes me wonder if I were to shoot my mouth off here or there about this or that or something. Apparently we don't have freedom of speech at this employment. So not to say anything bad about them. I've had my good experience with them in terms of me and my job as pretty much the fill-in maintenance guy and the fill-in night auditor overnight. I've had pretty good experience with all the coworkers and everything here and the owners and whatnot, so I don't want to say anything bad about them on my end, but anytime an employer messes with your payroll or messes with the loyalty of their employees, it kind of sends a red flag of, they don't really care about their employees. Maybe it might be time to move on. So, in my efforts to think about moving on, I'm pretty much 90% decided that even if I don't get fired tomorrow, I'm going to leave anyway and head out. And I might head out with my buddy and go in his car and go for a little bit of road trip over this 2 weeks, because it's Christmas and New Year's, so nobody's going to pretty much be hiring. But between the two of us, we have our paychecks, so we can get by that way if need be. Or if he doesn't want to go that route, I'm thinking myself of going to the airport and taking a flight and going to Ohio, Michigan type area while I still have his paycheck, and getting my DOT physical done ahead of time before I get low on funds, and possibly signing right up with a couple of different fleet owners that I've looked at. It's in the running as to who to sign up with for and when and what. That's all. You have to line that all up for expediting. You have to line up the good carrier to go with, and you have to line up the good fleet owner to go with on top of that. So on and so forth, and it's all kind of a crapshoot as to who, would be good to sign on with or not, and who would screw you over or not, or whatever. The best you can do is throw somebody's name out and say, hey, is this guy a good fleet owner, blah, blah, blah. and see if there's any past history that other drivers know about. And so far, the 3 that I have in the running to possibly work for don't have a good or bad reputation. They're just out there in the business. Nobody's heard anything good or bad about them, which can be a good thing. That could be a good sign that they know how to run their end of the business in a good way, and that they don't tick off drivers, and they don't have bad drivers working for them, and so on. So I'm thinking about getting back into expediting is what I'm hinting at. There's one of the jobs working for a company that goes from both the USA into Canada, and because they run loads back and forth to Canada, they're doing pretty good, versus just the USA loads. And right now I don't have the passport, but it would take, first I have to get my birth certificate, and then apply someplace and get the passport through the post office and all that, and it would take possibly something like 6 weeks or something to get my passport so I could do the Canada runs. But I'm thinking about doing that because everybody else that's in the industry and the groups are saying that Canada runs are the way to go at the moment, and it would be a new experience for me going into Canada and so on. So I'm possibly thinking of going that route and just taking a plane and going over to Ohio, Michigan type area, getting my DOT physical done, and signing right up with somebody. And this latest one I talked to, pending passing the background check and all that crap, I could wait to pass the background check in the first week of the New Year's, since they're not doing anything this week, Christmas week and New Year's week. And then I'd be getting on, the second week in January for a 2-day orientation someplace or another. So that might be what the future videos would be about, back into expediting possibly, because I missed the traveling and the 3/4 of the time self-employed and so on. Hopefully have a better experience this time around. That's what I'm hoping for. There's that possibility, or I might go with my buddy over to one of the lodges and resorts type of deal, the same as this, where it has room and board included in with the work, and there's lots of different stuff on CoolWorks websites and stuff like that, so we might go that route. And if that's the case, I'd only be signing up for probably 3 months or something to go through April, if I can find a temporary job that'll do it until I get to May, and then go expediting in May. But we'll have to wait to see what happens. If he goes that route and then I don't like the job that he goes to or whatever, I may just take a plane on the airport trip flight over to Ohio and go that route. So that's the newest of content that I have. I've packed my food and stuff up already in anticipation of leaving, and there's 2 backpacks right there. Yeah, things happen. I don't know if I'm going to be included on what happened today with that whole deal or not. And even then, the way it all went down, they have no loyalty for their employees. I don't see having any loyalty for the employer. They want to leave themselves in a rockin' hard place right over Christmas and New Year's when everybody else has already requested their time off. So basically management would have to convince other people who didn't quit to come into work, or they'll have to work it themselves. If they want to put themselves in that hard of a position, that's what they get. I don't feel bad about that part of it. The experience that I've had here, I can't say nothing bad about up until today. But when I was in my 20s, I would just be gung-ho about the money. I would not care about other people leaving the place, and not care about, other people's drama, blah, blah, blah. But now in my 30s, I've realized life is too short to stay in a job that you may or may not like anymore and whatnot, and people are going to think I'm crazy and insane for doing that. But I'm out for the adventure. I'm out there to live my life now, not live my life for when I'm 65 and can't barely get around. Or in my dad's case, he died when he was 60. And that's always a reminder in the back of my head that I want to live my life the way I want to live it now, instead of saving and hoping and saving and hoping, and maybe one day I'll be able to get there and do what I wanted to do, and then by then I'll be too old physically, mentally, or whatever, to be able to accomplish it. And to me, it just doesn't make sense to live your whole life hoping for the day that you can do things you want to do. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate this job. It wasn't really a 9-to-5 job. It was a overnight, 2 nights a week, and then part-time maintenance, which 7 in the morning to noon or so, 5 hours a day, 3 days a week. And both jobs are okay. It's just my sleep cycle, for one thing, is way off because of the 2 overnights is just enough to screw my whole body up to where you can't sleep at night the rest of the week. And then because I'm waking up the early mornings, I'm not really a morning person to begin with. I can do the regular 8 to 5 or 8 to 8-ish at night. That would be required of expediting most of the time, and the occasional overnight driving, expediting, yada yada. I can do all that, but I think I would feel much better than doing this route and just it just feels like I'm over there all the time, every day. Not trying to complain about it. It's the perfect job outside of not getting any sleep. And I don't have a roommate. There's lots of things that I've been truly blessed for on this job in general. Not having to pay the rent, etc. But there are better and worse places. So the general idea of this update of this video is to tell you that I may have videos coming up in the future with my buddy that of us going on a road trip because we got 2 weeks or a week and a half to kill, like 10 days worth before the New Year's is up. It's 23rd-ish. So yeah, it'd be about 10 days or something like that until the 31st. Can't do my math right. 7-8 days-ish, but then you have a couple days, after that for the weekend. And anyway, we have that time to kill before we can pretty much get on with anybody anywhere unless they're really desperate for like seasonal people over Christmas. It's kind of a crappy time of year to be looking for work, but we also both have a paycheck from payday tomorrow here or the next day for 2 weeks for the pay. So we could thinking about combining our efforts and leaving and going someplace else. So we might venture down to the West Coast and might get to see Washington and Oregon and Northern California, which I haven't done yet. And he knows about, and he's been there lots of times, so he's kind of might play tour guide and go do that for a little bit down the West Coast. Which case I might get some videos of that. Or we might end up going to Alaska, depending, but that's the more expensive option at the moment. I don't know how that'll work or not, because I don't have a passport to get there, and every other option is to fly there or take the boat or whatever, and they're both expensive, so don't know for sure. But if I could get up to Alaska, I'd go up to Anchorage and Denali National Park and all that area there. There's like 85 positions around the, for front desk and the stuff that I've been doing right here. So I might be tempted to go do that because Alaska is on my bucket list. So the sky is still open at the moment. Some people on my video are going to hate me for saying that whether I get fired or not, I'm going to probably quit anyway, because I liked being employed here. Don't get me wrong, the situation and everything, I just, as of today, don't feel it anymore. I'd rather be free again for a little while. Some people will find an offensive to that. Some people will yell and scream at me on my comments, which I'm already looking forward to. Other people will get the nomadic thing, will get the wanderlust, and will understand where I'm coming from. So with that, I'll leave it at that and say like and subscribe, leave comments, and we'll catch you on the flip. Next week I should have some kind of different content, because it being that I'll be leaving Whitefish, either going to Cali or going to Alaska or going to Ohio by plane, maybe, if not on the road trips. Peace.